The sun had barely risen over Coronado when the recruits lined up on the sand, shoulders tense, faces blank, trying to mask the exhaustion from a week of punishing drills. Among them stood a young woman no one paid much attention to, Ava Mitchell. She wore the same fatigues, carried the same gear, and endured the same schedule. Yet, there was something quietly intense about her. Something the way she moved, like she already understood every step they'd be asked to take. Most hadn't noticed, but a few had, and they didn't like it. Especially not the trio who claimed dominance among the recruits. Carter Briggs, Jordan Hale, and Mason Drew. They came from military families, walked around like the base belonged to them, and treated anyone who didn't fit their version of toughness as intruders. Ava, with her quiet confidence, was an unspoken challenge to their authority. The morning drill began with log carries. Pairs lifted heavy wooden logs and carried them across the sand while instructors barked orders. Ava paired with Daniel Hughes, a lanky recruit with a kind face who struggled to keep up. Carter noticed, smirking as Ava adjusted her stance and helped Daniel without complaint. "Look at her," Carter muttered to Jordan. "Princess thinks she's running the place." Mason chuckled. "Let's see how long she lasts." But Ava showed no sign of slowing. Every time Daniel stumbled, Ava shifted her position, taking more weight on her shoulder. When they finished ahead of Carter's team, Jordan whispered something to the others that made all three turn and stare at Ava with dark curiosity. Next came the close quarters combat drill. The instructors divided the recruits into groups and demonstrated defensive movements. Today's drill was a controlled pressure test, simulated attacks, not full contact, meant to push recruits mentally more than physically. But Carter, Jordan, and Mason decided they would turn it into something else. "Pair her with us," Carter said to Instructor Reed, forcing a smile. Red raised a brow. "This isn't a competition." "Of course not, sir," Jordan said. "Just want everyone to get proper practice." Instructor Reed didn't trust their tone, but the schedule was tight, and he reluctantly agreed. Ava stepped into the mat circle, adjusting her gloves calmly. Daniel shot her a worried look, whispering, "Be careful with them." Ava only gave a small nod. The moment the drill started, their intentions became obvious. Carter lunged at her harder than the drill required, gripping her arm and twisting with unnecessary force. Jordan came from behind, shoving her shoulder to throw her off balance. Mason swept a leg toward her ankle with full impact. The three weren't practicing, they were attacking her. A few recruits looked uneasy, but no one stepped in. Ava absorbed the hits, refusing to escalate beyond the drill's boundaries. She pivoted as Carter drove forward, keeping her footing even when Jordan grabbed the back of her collar and yanked. Mason laughed. "She can't handle it." But Ava wasn't struggling. She was studying them. Every movement, every opening, every mistake. She had been trained far beyond their understanding. With a shove harder than before, Carter sent her to the mat. Jordan stepped forward to pin her, but Ava rolled back smoothly and stood up again. For a moment, her eyes shifted, no longer calm, but calculating. But before she reacted, Instructor Reed blew the whistle. "Enough. That wasn't controlled. You three need to." His words froze when Commander Nathan Cole walked in. Cole was a legend among SEALs. 20 years of service, multiple classified missions, and a presence that silenced any room he entered. Reed straightened immediately. Carter, Jordan, and Mason snapped to attention, their earlier arrogance evaporating. Commander Cole scanned the recruits until his gaze fell on Ava. Something unreadable flickered in his eyes. "Recognition. Mitchell," he said. "Step out." The recruits shifted uncomfortably. Carter smirked, thinking Ava was about to be reprimanded. Ava stepped forward without emotion. Commander Cole turned to the trio. "You three attacked her." His voice was firm but eerily calm. Carter swallowed. "Sir, we were just drills or controlled." Cole cut in sharply. "You turned this into a street fight." Jordan tried to speak, but Cole raised a hand, silencing him instantly. "Mitchell could have put all three of you on the floor in under 10 seconds. She didn't. That restraint is the only reason you're still standing." Confusion rippled through the recruits. Daniel stared at Ava, stunned. Carter looked as if he didn't understand a single word. Mason frowned. Jordan muttered, "With all due respect, sir, she's not that strong." The room went cold. Commander Cole stepped closer, voice dropping. "Do any of you know who she is?" Carter scoffed faintly. "She's just a recruit." Cole's tone hardened. "She served 4 years in covert security operations under naval intelligence. She completed the same hand-to-hand curriculum used to train the protective security detail for admirals. And she ranked top of her class twice. The recruits froze. Daniel's mouth fell open. Carter blinked rapidly. Jordan's jaw tensed. Mason's eyes widened like he had misunderstood the entire world. Cole wasn't done. She volunteered to retake basic just to re-enter active field assignments. She didn't disclose her prior training because she wasn't required to, but I knew the second she walked on this base. Mitchell operates at a level well above yours. The trio's faces drained of color. Ava kept her posture neutral. She didn't want this attention. She never had. Commander Cole looked slowly at each of the three aggressors. You didn't challenge her. You ambushed her and you failed. A murmur swept across the recruits. Daniel exhaled in disbelief. Carter tried to maintain composure, but his voice cracked. Sir, we thought she needed a real test. She didn't. Cole snapped. You did. He motioned toward the mat. Mitchell demonstration. Ava hesitated. Sir, non-artful takedowns. Show them what real technique looks like. The recruits stepped back, forming a circle. Carter, Jordan, and Mason looked sick. But Cole's word was final. Ava approached them with no malice, no aggression, just complete composure. Which one first? She asked softly. Cole nodded. All three. Sequential. Carter stepped forward reluctantly. Ava waited. He lunged clumsily. She sidestepped, hooked his elbow, pivoted, and sent him flat on his back in less than a second. No impact, no injury. He stared at the ceiling in shock. Jordan came next. He threw a punch out of frustration, violating drill rules again. Ava ducked, grabbed his wrist, rotated his weight, and lightly pinned his shoulder to the mat. He couldn't move. Mason hesitated, then rushed her with brute force. Ava shifted right, used his momentum, and guided him straight past her, letting him fall safely onto the mat. She never struck them, never hurt them, only controlled them. The recruits erupted in whispers. Someone muttered, "What the hell?" Daniel stared at Ava with newfound respect. Mason looked humiliated. Carter refused to look up. Commander Cole folded his arms. That is the difference between skill and ego. Then his tone hardened even further. Briggs Hale drew your dismiss from the program. Gasp shot through the room. Carter stood up abruptly. Sir, please save it. Cole barked. Your conduct violates SEAL values. Honor, respect, discipline. You ambushed a teammate. You endangered a control drill. You ignored instructor boundaries and you lied about your intentions. Jordan lowered his head. Mason clenched his fists in defeat. Report to admin for your formal discharge procedures. Effective immediately. The three walked out slow, defeated, no longer carrying the swagger they once wore like armor. Commander Cole turned to Ava. Mitchell, walk with me. She followed him outside the training hall, away from the staring recruits. The breeze from the ocean carried the sound of waves toward the base. Cole stopped near the edge of the sand. You handle that better than most seasoned operators. Ava looked down. Ava sat beside the ocean, replaying the day in her mind when Commander Cole approached. I didn't want to expose my record, she said quietly. I know, Cole replied. But they forced your hand. You didn't escalate. You didn't humiliate them. That's why I stepped in. Ava nodded. I didn't want trouble. Trouble wasn't your fault. Leadership means protecting the integrity of the team, even when others don't. Her eyes drifted over the waves. Sir, did I make the right choice coming back? Cole studied her. You didn't return for validation. You came back because you weren't done serving. That's why anyone becomes a SEAL. Ava breathed out. Thank you, sir. Get some rest, he said. Tomorrow's evaluation will be tougher. Ava smirked. I'm ready. Cole nodded. I know you are. Later in the mess hall, Daniel sat across from her, still shaken. I had no idea you were trained like that, he said. You weren't supposed to, she replied. He hesitated. Thanks for helping me during the log carry. You worked hard. That's what matters. Daniel exhaled. You're different, Ava. You don't try to prove anything. You just do it. That night, Cole reviewed the incident report. 3 recruits, Carter, Jordan, and Mason, were dismissed. She handled herself exceptionally, Reed said. Cole nodded. She's exactly the kind of operator this place needs. Quiet, effective. The next morning's swim drill tested everyone. When Tyler Lawson slipped underwater in panic, Ava reacted instantly, pulling him up, steadying his breathing, getting him ashore. Reed nodded deeply. Good work, Mitchell. He needed help, she said simply. Whisper spread. Respect grew. Cole gathered the recruits. Mitchell showed what trust looks like. He said, not by fighting, but by discipline. Over the following weeks, Ava transformed the group. Less ego, more teamwork. Daniel especially improved under her quiet guidance. During their final endurance test, Daniel cramped badly and fell. Go on without me, he gasped. Not happening, Ava said firmly. She helped him finish slower, but together. That evening, Reed announced the results. Hughes qualified. Daniel's eyes found Ava across the room. She smiled. He had earned it. Later, Daniel asked, why'd you help me so much? Because someday someone will depend on you. I want you ready. Daniel looked at her with new understanding. People look up to you, Ava. I didn't come here to stand out. But you did, he said softly. That a week later, Cole handed her an envelope. Top scores in every category, he said. You're cleared for advanced operational track. Ava swallowed, nodding. Thank you, sir. Before their phase-ending ceremony, Cole addressed the class. You leave stronger than you arrived. Some of you will do extraordinary things. His gaze rested on Ava for a moment. Walking along the shore after, Daniel said, you changed this place. No, she replied. We all did. What's next for you? Whatever I'm needed for, Ava said. That's the job. As the sun dropped into the water, Ava felt calm, certainty settle inside her. She had returned not for praise, but for purpose. And now she was ready for whatever came next. She looked toward the horizon and whispered, I'm not done yet. Before you go, make sure to subscribe to Grow for Justice for more powerful military-style stories. Tell in the comments where you watching.